Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of Hey Sister. Hey Sister, how you doing?
Hey, sister, doing well tonight. Can't complain. It's a Sunday before Monday.
The Sunday before Monday. All right. Well, we are here. It is Monday.
Nope, it's Sunday. I just
Oh,
said
Lord.
that.
See,
It's
you
a
done messed me
Sunday
up, girl.
before
How
Monday.
you mess me up like that? It is Sunday, September 17th, and you are tuned in live to Hey Sister. I was going to try to do this stream to your audience function here. I'm going to fix that for next time because we have somebody running the backstage. We got our production assistant on the job. Woo, 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 woo. So if you're tuned in live to Hey Sister, we want to welcome you. Thank you for tuning in. We want you to join the conversation in the comments, like, follow, share, subscribe. Let folks know that you're tuned in to Hey Sister and all the good things that we got going over here. Well, tonight we have Hey Jody, how you doing? We got a
Hey,
lot of
Jody.
stuff to talk about. And the title of tonight, we're gonna be talking about a lot of hot topics, pop culture things, but it's about bandwagon. Are we riding or nah? Now, sister, are you a bandwagoner in general? Let's talk about just in general. How about that?
I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna
Okay.
say in general, I'm a centrist
Okay.
because sometimes the left is correct and sometimes the right is correct. So yeah, might as well stay right in the center. We can have I can have a, as we always say, two things can be true at the same time. And as some of these stories that we're going to get into will illustrate, sometimes, uh, a person can be maybe not so great individual, but then also someone else can have a little bit more agency to make different types of decisions. And so in both cases, I'd say I'm not jumping on either side. I think both of them could have done things differently. So I would say in general, no, more of a centrist.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna say me. I've never been a big bandwagon type of chick because, as they say on the Domino's table, all money ain't good money. And sometimes people ride for people or ride for things, and then it don't turn out so well. Now, this is not an example that we talked about in our pre-show, but I'll just put this example out here. Recently, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they sent a letter of support for their fellow co-star. I'm not even going to mention his name, who was convicted of sexual assault.
Hmm.
And this was during the time, even because they've changed the statute of limitation rules on these sexual crimes. This was even during the time, I think, they knew him from when they did this show back in the 90s. So some of these things I
That
think
70s
occurred
show. Yeah.
in that time. Yes, it was, the show was called That 70s Show on Fox, and they wrote a letter of support for their friend when it came to the sentencing phase. Now, they didn't ask that he get not go to jail. They didn't ask for whatever. They wrote a letter of support. And, right in with that has now been caused, now they issue an apology and they shouldn't have done it. No, you knew exactly what this situation was, how bad it was. You knew you sat on a board for sex trafficking, sex trafficking victims. And so now you've stepped down from being on that board and you didn't realize what pain that this was going to cause. How could you not realize the pain that this was going to cause? Because I
Right.
know you was riding with your boy, but no, bro. It didn't make sense to me then, but maybe you can make the math because you were an engineering major. I don't know. What you think?
I can't. Um, I didn't know that full story. I know about what happened to old boy, and I don't know his name well enough, but I do remember his character from that '70s show, and I believe he was convicted of like 2 counts of rape or something like that.
Yeah.
I could probably pull up. We could probably pull up the actual stats, but um you got to be really careful with certain things, and unless you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that your friend is innocent of what they're being charged with. And there are people, again, we know, we had a relative who was convicted of rape, and was innocent and served many years before being exonerated. So unless you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's just not one. That's not a landmine you need to step on. And if your friend doesn't understand that, then y'all probably don't need to be in. You probably didn't need to be in a relationship with that person anyway. But um, it's if you don't know all the facts, then it probably that is definitely not a time to be like, yeah,
It's not. That's not a time to
yeah, FANFO.
FO. FA and FO. That's not the time for it. I understand. Well, it's very interesting, but you know, as we said, tonight's topic is all about bandwagons, and I'm going to tell you one of the big bandwagons right now is the University of Colorado Buffaloes. I went to sleep last
Who
night.
ain't on the bandwagon is this one? But continue.
Listen, some of you, when I first of all, it
Don't let
started.
this black and gold fool you.
Okay, your volume is kind of low. I don't know if that's some microphones that have the short in it or whatever, because your volume is
No, this
kind of
is
low. Oh,
well, yours was just loud. That's why.
okay. Well, maybe I'm just loud. So let's talk about this University of Colorado thing. Deion Sanders, now the head coach of the University of Colorado Buffaloes. Hate him or love him, whatever, hate or love it, the underdogs on top because, honey, they started out last season. They ended it at 1-11, so they ain't have no kind of good season. They ain't have no type of squad, but the man came in and doing what he do, and they had a hard fought victory last night. Now, what started me like wondering, because I was like, well, what time this game even coming on? Because I didn't even know what time the game came on. Because one of my friends, one of our sorority sisters, Natasha Carvey Joseph. So if you watch this in the replay, you hear her shouting you out. She was like, for those of us that are planning to watch this game, make sure you take a nap because some of us are over 40. We need to take a nap so we can watch this game. Because for those of us on the East Coast, the game didn't start until 10 p.m. Eastern time, which was um Mountain time, I think 7 p.m. Mountain time,
Mhm.
whatever it is, or Pacific time, whatever time zone they're in. And let's just say that then I get up fresh at a good fresh 6:30 in the morning, feeling good, do my little devotional on my phone, get ready to read my Sunday school lesson. Then I looked on my Facebook and I saw these people was up to 2 and 3 o'clock this morning. I was like, what had happened? But hey, they pulled it out. They got the victory. It was obviously hard fought. It had a double overtime because then I saw another post. She said my nap was meant for a regulation game. My nap wasn't meant for no double overtime game.
Mm.
I don't know. But they got the victory in the end. I know it's an in-state rivalry with University of Colorado and Colorado State. There was controversy all week with the Colorado State coach making comments about his mother taught him that when you talk to adults, you take off your glasses and your hat and that type of thing. So it was a lot of things that were happening all week that I guess made it personal. Y'all know how Dion feel about things being personal. But anyway, I don't know, sister. You already told us you're not on the bandwagon, so tell us why.
Because I never have been. I've never been a university. I have never lived in Colorado. Um, what I knew of the University of Colorado before all of this was like one of my friends had a starter jacket back in the day. Um, that's it. I mean, and so you know, God bless Dion for taking all of his talent and his star players from Jackson State over to Colorado in order to build this program. I mean, I'm an HBCU advocate and graduate, and so I've always had my feelings about the way things were done with that exit. Um, but yeah, it's like I'm not. I, I never was a Colorado fan, so I don't know why I would just jump on like and for me, I when I logged on before we started, I saw Travis Hunter was like trending at the top. So I see, unfortunately, the young man has been injured, and it looks like he's going to be out for a few weeks, according to Deion Sanders. But of course, Deion is not a doctor, so I don't know how long that might be. Um, but for me, I just go back to the place a few short years ago, when Travis Hunter decided to go to Jackson State, and the vile comments, the amount of hate that he received from making that decision. And so now, for those same people, like, it was like, you are ruining your life. Like, this is gonna be the worst decision ever.
All
And
the
here,
people on ESPN, all the people on Fox Sport, FS Sports, all the prognosticators on the online platforms, they drag that young man for making a decision to say, I am going to go play at an HBCU.
HBCU. I mean, dragged him for filth, and
And
now
now,
everybody's on the bandwagon. So yeah, I'm just like, interesting. I just hope for that young man, for the Sanders sons, and everyone else, just be mindful and be watching it all very closely, because the lesson I think that we could all get from this is, sometimes the very same people, and we talked about this in Sunday school today, sometimes the very same people who will tear you down will be the first ones talking about, I knew you was gonna make it. I knew you was gonna do it. And you gotta be mindful of that. You have to very much watch those individuals who jump on the bandwagon.
oh yeah, that's real powerful stuff there. I see we got a comment from one of our fans. Jody said, I'm not a fan of Coach Sanders, but I'm happy for him, I guess. Hey, I'm not, I'm, we, in the spirit of full transparency, we have a friend whose son is there. He's not playing this year. He's a, first year student there and is on the team. And I'm cheering for them all. Because I told y'all a few years ago how I've been off this football bandwagon, and it has just freed up so much time in my life. My spirit is good on Sundays. I ain't gotta watch nothing. I mean, it's freed up so much time in my life. So I'm just saying, I'm happy for him, what he's done in terms of how he's built it up. And hey, like Issa Rae said, I'm cheering for everybody black, wherever they are. But that don't mean I have to be on a bandwagon to cheer
Right.
for your success. I want all of us to be successful
Oh
in
yeah.
all
I
of
mean,
our
of course.
endeavors.
Of course, I want everybody to be successful, but I do feel like, I mean, my personal and unpopular opinion is, when you have talent, and as they say, what luck is, preparation meets opportunity. When you have talent and you are prepared, the opportunities will present themselves no matter where you are. So
Hmm.
for me, it was, I don't know that you needed to go to Colorado to prove that you had these abilities, because you were already showing that you had these abilities at Jackson State. But I get it. You wanted to play on uh, a bigger
Stage.
stage, if you will. So, best of luck for with that. Yeah, I'm rooting for you as a member of the melanated community, but I ain't no University of Colorado fan.
All right, let's go on to our next topic, or bandwagon. We riding or now? Who's up next?
I don't know. What are we gonna talk about, this Tinashe and Chris Brown situation?
Okay, Tinashe versus Chris Brown. I'm gonna let you start this one off, sister.
Well, in full disclosure, I don't really even know who Tinashe is.
Let me look up Tinashe, no hit
I
song.
listen
You know Tinashe. She was a few years ago. She was real popular.
in a
Uh
second. In a second, I am going to be
oh,
on the
oh, which
down.
song is it? Which was what was her hit song? Cause see, now I'm looking at some of her songs. I'm like, I don't know name one of these that I just searched.
Well, apparently that's Chris Brown's position on the situation. So,
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it. So basically, what had happened was Tinashe, I think, who's recently left her label, that she was signed to, said that she was
She had regrets about doing
Yes.
songs with R. Kelly, a song with R. Kelly and a song with Chris Brown, and that it was specifically a label decision.
Yes.
And so Chris Brown retorted, as my niece said, as the inner hurt man that he is, he he retorted, name five Tinashe songs or die. Everybody is dead. and and then there was a tweet out there. I'm gonna still call them tweets. I don't know if they're called X's now. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
God listen.
because that's another one. But whose bandwagon I'm certainly not on. But anyway, somebody said, I can't name five Tinashe songs. Let me see the exact tweet so I don't misquote it. It is Mr. and give proper citation, Mr. Ernest Owens, who has a check mark because everybody has a check mark now on the X platform. I can't name five Tinashe songs, but I can name 50 reasons why Chris Brown remains trash. And so that's why I'm like, I mean, two things can be true at the same time. I can't name five Tinashe songs, and maybe Chris Brown is trash. I don't know. I don't know Chris Brown personally. But what I do know is whenever she made the decision to, or when her record label urged her to work with these two artists, I'm going to guess that they were already at that trash level. And so sometimes the question remains like, are you going to do it for the money, for the popularity, for the fame, for the promotion? Or are you going to stand on your morals and your principles and say, I'm not going to do this? Um, I don't agree with this. So how many Chris Brown songs can I actually name? I just know I like the little "Excuse Me, Miss" song still,
You
and
like Fine China. That was
I
one of the songs
love
you liked
Fine
too.
China. Yes,
Okay,
love me some
and
Fine
then
China.
let me see if you run it,
Run it,
give me up
yes,
and run it,
run it,
run
run.
it. If you
And
man,
I currently
oh,
like his song with Sierra,
oh,
"Roll
you
with
like
It" or whatever,
How
or
We Roll with
"How We
Sierra.
Roll."
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we've actually named almost five, just right there, real
and he
fast.
has the little song "Go Crazy," and obviously I don't like the what he's saying, but I like the beat of the song. Um, yeah, there's some little Christopher Brown songs that I like, but
And hey,
again,
for the movie soundtrack, he redid This Christmas.
Christmas, yeah, yeah.
Look at me now. Oh, look at me now.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
I'm
apparently
chasing paper, right?
the song. Now I will say here on this platform, we discovered that or maybe we were in the car. We discovered that I did not know the name of his song with Drake because apparently I thought it was something about changing my last name, but
No guidance, that one.
no guidance. There it is. Did not know that. So anyway, I'm just saying, yeah, I think he still has a lot of things going on. And like I said, we didn't even get into the DJ Envy versus Ayo, yes, so uh DJ Envy and Tyrese mess of a mess. But what I will say is there are a lot of young men out here, brothers, who are dealing with some emotional issues and some mental health issues. And yeah. So maybe he's trash, maybe he's mental health problems. Maybe I can't name a Tanashi song. Maybe she should have decided before to not do those songs before coming back and saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have done it." Or maybe everybody's right, and maybe they're just putting this out there so because she's got a new single out, and Chris Brown has a single with Sierra, so maybe they were just punking us all.
Perhaps. And I also think that when and I think this speaks to y'all weren't on Sunday school with us, so we'll just have to tell y'all about the lesson more in detail. But it really speaks to some of the conversation that we had. It's really beyond just the scope of the lesson, but how do we apply it in our daily lives? And one of the questions that I asked was about, do we do what are we willing to lose right? And so early on in her career, she was on that label. What was she willing to lose versus what was she willing to gain? And we know that a lot of times when artists are new, they're breaking in, they're looking for what do they have to gain, and not thinking about kind of the longer term or more nuanced implications of different things. And I think for all of us, it's a lesson in, if you're really convicted and you have a really strong conviction about something, sometimes you take that short term L for the long term win. And if she really was convicted about not working with R. Kelly, about not working with Chris Brown or anyone, then she should have stood firm on her belief system, and maybe the label would have dropped her then early on in her career, and it may have taken her longer to break through, but would she would not be talking about these regrets. And I don't believe she is. It's not like she a 60-year-old woman talking about regrets, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Well, last
um
but not least, I'd also like "Don't Think They Know," and that samples Aaliyah, and it was a nod to John B. Okay, that's all.
well, I see Jodio typed in the comments as well, take you down. Like, listen, y'all is not gonna talk about that little boy, because that little boy done put some hits out now.
Yeah,
He
thrown as he may be,
throwed as he may be. He got some banks.
and I unfortunately, maybe this is where I get dinged. His adult post 25-year-old behavior, yes. Like you said, as the prefrontal cortex has developed, post 25-year-old behavior, yes, I'm going to hold you accountable for that all day. But stuff you did at 18, 19 years old, and we want to still hold people accountable for some of that. That's a
Yeah.
little harder for me because I don't want to be held accountable.
Yeah, so we saying pre 25 behavior, we won't hold you to the same standard as
Standard.
post 25 behavior, because we've learned more about development, prefrontal cortex. We've learned more about our mirror neurons and the impact of trauma. We've learned more.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Alana, for illuminating so many things for us.
Oh my goodness.
However, and who was teaching? Like, did he even have teachers about teaching certain things that would then help him behave in search? Did he have
And
guidance?
I don't want my niece to think that I am contributing to the patriarchy by supporting the guy over the girl.
Yes. Well, hey, we got a new friend watching tonight. Hey, Sherry. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Hey. So since we're on the topic of music, let's go on into these video music awards, which we didn't really. I'm gonna tell y'all now, I didn't watch. I didn't watch VMAs. All I know is I turned on my phone, and you know when you do your little news, like they come on your phone, there was some girl crawling around on the floor, on the ground, and I was
That
like,
has
first of
become
all,
a
who is
meme.
you? Do you have a like who is you? What is this all about? Child, I don't know, but you know
Carisha had on an outfit that everybody was like, ma'am, please, ma'am, don't do
who?
that. Carisha, Young Miami.
I don't know them. Don't know.
Well,
Mm-mm.
only and because she did perform with Puffy. The only thing I know about the VMAs is
Shakira performed.
Shakira
I saw
performed
it. I
with
saw it in my news feed. Shakira was getting ready, and she was doing the practice with the hips. I was like, the hips still don't lie, girl. You still got it. I got you.
Taylor Swift. Apparently had her a few drinks
Uh huh.
because Taylor was having a good time. She was singing, she was cheering. She couldn't hardly get that little drink out the cup holder. They said Taylor was throwing them back apparently, but
Hey, I
she just
don't
made a
know.
few billion on a tour, so I guess you could do it like that.
Do it like that, girl. But one of the big stories that's coming out of the VMAs as it related to our topic, bandwagon, we riding or nah, is there's an R&B artist named Victoria Monet. We listen to, one of her songs right now that's real popular is "On My Mama," and we remember the rap song that inspired it. She's remixed it. And we know "On My Mama," hey, on my hood. Come on, Chrissy, why you not doing it with
I
me?
was just gonna see how many of the words you actually knew.
Okay, touch my swag if you could. I look fly, I look
On
good.
my
Okay,
mama, on my hood.
Whatever.
Test
Okay.
my swag.
Nonetheless,
Wish you
she got
would.
on my mama on my hood. But young Victoria Monet was her team was informed that she would not be asked to perform on the VMAs, even though she's very popular right now with that Gen Z and that Gen Alpha set, who is the target audience of the VMAs, because they said she didn't have enough hits at this point in time. Or
Well,
have enough, not
listen,
no, her, she's too early in her
her
career. Then it
career.
wasn't that she didn't have too enough hit. She was too early in her career. And the
Which
the people took to X, as you say, Twitter. I still call it Twitter too, because like I say, your mama named you Clay, I'm gonna call you Clay. Your mama named you Twitter, I'm gonna call you Twitter. Okay, Elon Musk, you can do whatever you want to do. It's Twitter still. It's gonna stay Twitter because Jack Dorsey named it Twitter. It's gonna stay Twitter. Um, and so the fans came to her. The fans brought it up, like, why is she not performing, why is she not performing? And then she came out and said what was shared with her team. But this young lady has 4 albums, has 2 EPs out. This is not like she's brand new. Her star is rising. She has a sold out tour. Is it on the Beyonce level? No, but you're not going to compare somebody who's been 30 years in this game for somebody who maybe been in this for like 10 years. You're not going to compare her to Taylor Swift, but she is a rising star. We also know that R&B music has these ebbs and flow, and if it's not R&B totally mixed with hip hop right now, it doesn't get the same lift, to say the least, because while Sierra has a new album out and I guess it's doing seemingly well, it's still not getting the same lift that a song that is probably either remixed or cut with, where she's featured with the hip hop artist, would be. So I don't know, I think it's a combination thing going on. But are you riding with the VMAs on that choice or no?
no, I'm not riding with the VMAs on that choice because number one, as this young lady has obviously been putting in work. If you first of all, it's the VMAs, right? And it used to be stand for Video Music Awards, and you got to go to YouTube to see a video anyway, and you have to proactively seek out a video these days. So I'm like, from a branding standpoint, it shouldn't even be VMAs at this point, but because it is VMAs, her video is dope. It's very well done. She's dancing, and I mean, like, serious choreography, singing. Again, because she has Charlie Boy in it, I always appreciate appreciation, over appropriation. So she has Charlie Boy in it, so she's sitting in. Shout out to him. Um, I, I think based on what I have seen perform at many of these award shows, I think she's qualified for to perform a popular song, because it
Hmm.
ain't like she was performing the whole album. It's a song.
Right.
Um, Listen, I didn't watch it, but I'm gonna say this: as long as y'all got this little red girl, sexy red, Lil Red, whatever her name is, talking about the filth and ridiculousness she's talking about performing out here in these streets, Victoria Monet definitely has a platform to stand on.
Okay. Well, we're going to have our production assistant drop the link to her video in the comments, so you all can take a look for yourself, because I think you make a very valid point, sister, that video was the key and operative word. Video Music Awards. And um you have to have Vivo, you have to have YouTube, you have to have, what's the other video?
Venmo, something.
Uh
You gotta find it. You gotta
Venmo,
find it.
sister.
I mean, not
Vin-
Venmo, girl. Vimeo, Vimeo.
Vimeo, Vimeo, Vivo, whatever.
I need Venmo too.
I
Okay.
need Venmo too. You could run me a few coins on Venmo, right?
Sheesh.
But
Jesus.
hey,
I mean, it's just the ridiculousness of it, because it's like, do you know have y'all not seen what sh- y'all award shows have become over the last few years? The links that people go to make them interesting at this
Mhm.
point. You know,
Mhm.
you talk more about what people wore and had on than actual performances anyway. Like I said, what I knew about the VMAs this year is that Puffy got like a Global Icon Award. He was dressed in a lot of red. Keisha Cole performed with him. His daughters danced and came out. They did a tribute again, the tribute that he had done to Biggie back in the day. Missing You, he did that. So his two daughters, obviously, their mother, Kim Porter, has passed away. So, his son performed with him in the space where Mace would have been rapping on I'm Coming Out. It was little young twin Sean, little guy. I don't know his real name. Um, but that was what I think
And
he goes by
Taylor
King
Swift won
Kong.
all the awards for the most part. We could drop the link in so y'all can see who won. But Taylor Swift won for Video of the Year,
Again, what
Artist
video? you
Artist
know,
of the Year, um, Song of the Year,
so it was
uh,
the Taylor Swift award.
Best New Artist. So she couldn't win in that category. So Ice Spice won that one. Push Performance of the Year. I don't know Tomorrow Together, but Saucy Santana was in that category and a few others.
I don't. What is
But I
push
don't know what
performance?
push performance mean. Like what's that? The criteria? Because see, that's another thing. Y'all need to give me some criterias. Best
What
collaboration.
criteria?
Carol G and Shakira. Best pop. Taylor Swift. Best hip hop. Nicki Minaj.
Taylor Swift won for best. I'm just
That
kidding.
best R. So we could go on and on. R&B. We got alternative. Oh, best alternative. Lana Del Rey and John Baptiste won. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, John Baptiste represent for the hood. The only other thing I would say is I did
Girl, they
see
got a best K-pop award, best Afro beats award, video, and here's what as I'm scrolling through, there is no more best R&B.
hmm, not
Mm.
surprising. Um,
But
I did
SZA
see a
got
sh-
nominated in all these categories, but she's okay. All right, God, stop it.
I did see Ashanti is my cousin, Ashanti, and had her cute outfit, and she had her handbag with her and her man face on it, and there were a lot of people like, "Girl, you too old to be putting the picture of your man on the handbag. Where's the ring?" Because at this point,
Because if
where's
he
the
liked
ring?
it, he would have put a ring on it.
so that, but that's what the people in the
Oh, okay.
social media world was saying. I wasn't saying that.
All
I
right.
said,
Well, we can
"Go
move on to the next
Ashante."
topic. We done gave that a whole lot of energy that we ain't even know nothing about and gave that a whole lot of energy.
Okay, go ahead, Mama. I'm sad about this, even though I was already I yes.
So bandwagon, who we riding with, girl?
At this point, I don't think I have enough information to ride with either one of them. So the apparently so in the report that I read, you know, Jeezy has signed he filed for the divorce. They've only been married for 2 years.
And
Since
it was
March.
a very big thing.
But since March of 2021, obviously they had their baby. If you all know, Jeannie Mai famously had previously been married. I think her ex, she was very vehement, like that. She vehemently did not want children. All these things. There was this whole weird thing about dating black men and not and all that stuff. And then ultimately she ended up with young Jeezy, what have you. So, yeah, she did not want kids, and then got with Jeezy, had her baby girl. They said, Jeezy just put out a memoir, and they just had, the article is like seemingly she may have been surprised by this as well because just a week ago she was saluting her man on this memoir on his vulnerability, his honesty, and saying how she's been so inspired by him, et cetera, et cetera. However, it's the language of the irretrievably broken and irreconcilable differences that we often hear in these proceedings. which usually sounds like infidelity to me, but I don't know because irretrievably broken, you know.
So, writing a memoir usually brings up a lot of stuff for people, right? Because
Hmm.
you're kind of going back through you are reliving, right? So you're kind of going through some things, you're going through your past traumas, you're going through your past hurts, you're going through some things.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it could very well have stirred some things up for him and in him, uh as it relates to who he is and the man he is and the man that he may want to be. I don't know that for sure, and only he would be able to answer that question.
Right.
I think it is always very sad that if you have made the point to make this commitment, um, then to sever that commitment in a marriage. And so that's why I can't be on a bandwagon for anybody, because I know that this is a difficult decision. I know that it's very difficult for human beings um to really navigate relationships of any sort. I mean, it's hard to navigate the relationship with your mama, much less somebody who loves you and who gave birth to you and brought you in this world, right? It is so just the strength of finding someone and being with someone outside of the fantasy world that we have created about marriage and relationships, right? But to be with somebody, to partner with them through life, that is difficult to do. And so when you go into it and you make that decision, and then for then that to fall apart, as you said, irretrievably and
Irretrievably. Let me find the
irreconcilable,
language.
unreconcilable. I mean, I'm like, did you even try? Because it ain't even been, it's just been 2 years. Like, did you even try? Like, what could cause that in such a short period of time? Because you didn't go into it lightly, because it wasn't like you was 24 when you got married. You was already in your 40s.
I don't know if she's in her
She's
40s.
44, he 45.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess then you've told me that. Yes. So it says rapper Jeezy has filed for divorce from TV personality Jeannie Mai Jenkins after 2 years of marriage. The rapper, whose birth name is Jay Wayne Jenkins, filed to end his marriage on Thursday in Georgia's Superior Court of Fulton County. The filing says the marriage of the parties is irretrievably broken and there is no hope for reconciliation. The pair welcomed their first child together, a daughter, in January 2022. Jeezy and Mai began dating in 2018 and were married in March of 2021. He is seeking joint legal custody of their daughter. According to the divorce documents, the two had a prenuptial agreement that Jeezy expects will be enforced, according to the filing. So, I mean, listen, I don't know if there is this. I do think part of the challenges that we have here in our society. So in this case, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon for either one of them. I think one of the issues that we have in our society is that, like we always talk about menopause and your mama don't tell you the truth, a lot of people don't are not speaking honestly about what it takes to make marriages work. I'm not saying that um I'm not saying I don't like to say that, and I'm not married. So I don't like to use words like difficult and hard, because I think life and death lies in the power of the tongue. And so if you say it's hard, it's probably going to be hard. But I do think that anything worth having in our lives, we must work for
Mhm.
and must work through. And we must accept that there will be good days and bad days, ups and downs, and there'll be triumphs and there'll be setbacks. And so it really does, m- in my opinion, mean, which is something that, again, I personally have struggled with. It means that there are conversations that have to be had before you decide that marriage is the decision that you're going to make. Because after if he wrote, so if writing this memoir, it just came out, but obviously they've only been married 2 years. It probably took 2 years to write the memoir.
Yeah.
So if there were things coming up for him, and we don't know that, we're just speculating. But if there were things coming up for him, I would have hoped that that would have opened and created opportunity for dialogue,
Yeah.
for seeking greater understanding of each other. Because, we, again, in our society, we make it where if you don't get married as a woman, it's like you're trash, basically,
Hmm.
for lack of better words. If you decide you don't want to have kids, something's wrong with you. And we should actually normalize people making decisions that kind of make them feel healthy and whole. And so,
That's best for their life because you ain't living it. How about that?
yes, actually. But I mean, this
Well,
this this marriage the wedding industry has gotten so big that it's convoluted what marriage is really about. So
yes.
I will wrap it up on that.
I will say this. I'll pray for them both. I pray for them both. I pray for the child that they brought into this world, and I think that's the best that any of us could do for somebody in that situation. I know another since we're in kind of this Hollywood realm, one of the things we wanted to talk about was Drew Barrymore. So we riding or now because there's still a strike going on. So is she a scab? Is she not a scab? I know that it does say that she has delayed. There's an article out now saying that she has delayed the return of her talk show because of the backlash she received by saying that she was going to go on with her talk show. Now, when I read the SAG-AFTRA rules about the strike, like talk shows still were allowed. That's why shows like The View stayed on the air and continues to stay on the air without writers. So they have to do there because the writers are on strike in addition to actors. I know Drew works as both a writer and an actor. So she's a part of both of those unions, but she does have a talk show. I know Bill Maher's show is supposed to return as well, and he's made the decision to return without writers as well. Um, and so back to that thing I said earlier about what do you have to lose or what do you have to gain by standing on, if you really believe in the strike, if you really believe in what your fellow artists are doing, what do you stand on? Now, I don't know what their contracts are for their talk shows, right?
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
that's a whole nother thing. But are you willing to lose? Are you willing to give that up? Are you willing to pay whatever fine or penalty or that goes along with that for standing on the principle? I don't know. But are we on uh, uh, where are we on this? I'm gonna just make it even broader than that. Labor bandwagon, because labor is having a moment right now. So are we with the unions? Or are we with the corporations? Whose side? Who you riding with?
No, I ain't with the corporation. So to answer this question though, I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna say she's scabbish.
She's scabbish. Okay,
So
okay. Tell me more. Scabbish. She
scabbish.
not a whole scab, but just a little like irritation there. Okay, tell
Yes,
me why. Why
yes,
you think she's
yes.
scabbish?
Well, because before she was convicted to not go on, she had doubled down in what they say are now deleted posts.
Hmm.
She had doubled down. I think so. I don't know all the SAG-AFTRA rules. I don't know all the WGA rules. But what I think when you said talk shows can go on,
Talk
I
shows,
want
game shows.
but I thought the talk shows have to have the quote unquote news element. And I think that's why The
Mm,
View, for example, was able to rise to that bar. I listen, I don't want to say anything evil about Drew Barrymore because clearly she is very well connected in Hollywood.
mhm, mhm.
However, I have never really been a fan of her talk show, and I feel like this is like the second or third iteration of us trying to have a Drew Barrymore talk show, and it just doesn't land with me. But perhaps I'm not the
You're not the
target
target
audience.
audience. Yeah.
Okay. I would say that depending on what the rules say, if she tried to circumvent them a little bit, then yeah, you were willing to be a scab under the circumstances. Um, our great PA here has put the rules up for us. So I'm gonna have to take some time to what you can work on. Remember, okay,
Jody said, I didn't even know she had a talk show. I don't know if she knows some days that she have a talk show, but
okay. So you
that's
can,
another conversation for another
so
day.
like yeah, so like we can work on this. Okay, independent podcast agreement and micro monetize. Well, baby, we ain't monetized the micro or macro, child. Um,
We do this for the love, y'all.
Yeah. So television programs covered by the network TV code, soap operas, variety shows, talk shows, and game shows. So perhaps she felt like I don't know what the network TV code is, but perhaps she felt that she fell into that category. But again, why I say she's scabbish is because if you really truly believe that you fell into that category, then do move forward, go do what you do. But obviously, you felt some kind of way about it. Um,
Because if you're gonna, if you, because see, that's the thing with folks. You know what's amazing to me is they always want to double down, then they want to backpedal and pussy
apology.
pop. Okay, stop it, please. If you say what you mean what you say, stand firm in your word. Right? If you going to
Do you want to cite anyone for those comments?
who says the fucking Dineva says that,
Yes,
right?
let's
But
get.
I think also Nene Leaks was one who was like, say what you mean what you
Yeah.
say, stand firm. I mean, there's a few people that say it, but yes, stand 10 toes down if you really mean it. Because when you
Mhm.
convicted about something, you stand in it. Now, if your mind has changed, then certainly say I've had more information. I've changed my mind. But it's back to that thing we said up top about Ashton and Mila. You know, if you really like, I'm having empathy for my friend. I have empathy for these victims. I'm having empathy for my friend. Then don't come out and apologize. Don't backpedal.
Mhm.
Just just stand on what you truly believe. But see, that's the problem. We don't really have real beliefs anymore, right?
And like, well, like you said,
Or we're
you can.
bandwagoning, like we're
Yeah.
trying to see which side or like which who we gonna ride with. And I just say that if you when folks always get into trouble when they start doubling down, and so
Yes.
pause, stop.
Mhm.
You ain't always have to make a statement. So that's all I have to say. Comment
Yeah, I
here
think
says, yes, she goes the
to the
street and
street
meet
and meet
locals as if
locals.
she meeting people where they
They are.
oh, okay, where they are, side eye. Okay. I don't know. Child, listen, I don't know.
And well, so to wrap this up in a bow, I think that um the doubling down piece and then the apology is where people get a little tripped up. Yeah, if you feel strongly in something, stand on it. And then if you get more information, you're like, you know what, I was wrong. It is okay to apologize and
Apologize.
say I was a wrong because I received more information. But when y'all start, and in this case, when y'all start doing this, I have listened to everyone, and I am making the decision to pause the show's premiere until the strike is over. I have no words to express my deepest apologies to anyone I have hurt, and of course, to our incredible team. We really tried to find our way forward, and I truly, it's like all the. You haven't told me what new information you received that you didn't have before when you made
Because
that
she listened
decision.
to everyone. So maybe you should have listened to everyone before you open your mouth up the first time. Because if you listen, you know what I
Yeah, perhaps. Okay, well,
mean?
be blessed, Drew Barrymore. Let's talk about this Drake and Halle Berry situation,
God, what happened with Drake and Halle Berry now, girl?
chill. Well, so apparently Drake and SZA have released a new song called "Slime You Out,"
And they
and
know better. Go ahead.
and
Using people like me.
he-
Let me
well,
stop.
he used a picture of Halle Berry when she apparently the cover of the single features an image of Berry getting slimed at the 2012 Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards. And she shared in Instagram, she as in Halle Berry shared it. Both, well, let me say this, both SZA and Drake shared a picture of the album cover to tease the fact that this single is coming out. So Halle Berry shared an Instagram post after the single was released with a pink square and the words, "Sometimes you have to be the bigger guy, even if you're a woman." And in the comment section, an artist by the name of Slide Cat artist or something, Slick artist, asked her opinion about it, and he said, um, she said that he didn't get my permission. That's not cool. I thought better of him. And then she followed up with, hence my post today. When people you admire disappoint you, you have to be a bigger person and move on. And then someone else later said, well, the photo is owned by Getty, and Drake likely got the permission he needed from them and paid the fee. And she responded, Halle Berry responded to that saying, because he asked me and I said no, that's why. Why ask if you intend to do what you want to do? That was the F you, and she wrote it out to me. Not cool. You get it? So that's the back and forth. If you look at the image, it does look like it has been digitally enhanced or shifted or changed up a little bit,
Mm.
um, to emphasize the slime and things of that nature. Now, now this is Christina because I ain't heard the slime you out. But if I'm gonna guess what slime you out with Drake and SZA might possibly could almost
The girl
might
who don't
be
open her
about.
mouth when she sang, but go ahead on. Okay.
If I have to guess what that song could be about,
Mhm.
I would say that
Mhm.
I probably would not want my likeness
Mhm.
on that cover too. So I'm gonna side with Hallie on this, even if she doesn't own the rights to that image, it is still her likeness. And again, since I'm guessing that Slime You Out is not a gospel hit,
Mm.
I that would not be something that I would want my image associated with. Um, and it's like, why don't SZA? You could have been slimed. Drake, you could have been slimed. And I mean, like you could have literally somebody could have
Well,
made
you know what? You're gonna have to drop
that
the
image.
lyrics in because I'm looking at some of these lyrics and I
I'm
would
not
just
dropping the lyrics because I don't know what it's about, but I'm guessing what it's about, and whatever it's
well,
about,
it is all that. So let me just say this, because again, this is where that generational divide comes in and stuff like this. I think what the so the person is right in that he probably purchased it and did that the way he was supposed to purchase it, right?
hmm
And to her point, but if you ask me, because we
right.
know each other, have a relationship, you should go about what my request is.
Yes, if you
Now,
ask me,
what I
yes,
also know to be true, because again, he don't work for himself, he works for a label. SZA don't work for herself, they work for a label. They work for parent companies. And so that decision probably wasn't even in their hands. Their team or whomever, it could be in their hands, it could not be. I mean, maybe both of them have earned that right at this point. Maybe they
yes.
haven't. But I don't know. But I'm suspecting, I just kind of have a suspicion that Aubrey falls on the side of like, I don't want to lose anything, so I'm not going to rock none of the boats. And I'm just going to tell my folks no, and I'm just going to go with it. That's me.
Um,
But I don't know Aubrey
so
life like that,
again,
child. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna say this. Uh, I'm gonna say this. It's a lot of b words and references in this song and these
Right at the
lyrics, but
front top of the
right
frontage
off
of the
top,
song.
and I
Right
feel
out the
like,
gate.
and I already got my issues with you, Aubrey. So who you talking to? Because that's where I'm gonna stand with Hallie. Hallie is a grown woman. Okay. She's
In her
well
fifth
into her
decade of
50s.
life, okay?
Exactly. If you wanted to put one of these little young girls up on this
Why you
cover,
didn't put the slime on scissor? Because again,
that's why I
somebody could
said,
have recreated that photo. Stop it.
exactly. You could have slimed Scissor, you could have slimed yourself, you could have slimed anybody else. But you taking this image, even if Getty owned it, I believe that you're in a position now because you canceled your whole tour. You canceled your stop in New Orleans.
I think he
So
canceled the whole thing because of this album
No,
coming
they
out.
just said that he announced it in Austin. So you remixing some stops and doing things. So you do have some leverage. And that's
Yeah.
a grown woman. And that's somebody mama. Two people's mama.
Mhm.
That woman been through a lot lately. She just
Mhm.
got to pay this man all this money for this divorce. If you ask her and she said no, you should have honored that.
Yeah.
And then especially if you got these trash lyrics associated with a song and you want to put her face on it. That's not cool.
So you ain't on the Drake bandwagon for sure, and you riding with Hallie on this one.
On this one I am. On
Mhm.
this one I am.
Okay.
And yes.
I ain't mad at it because I whatever. But anywho, um, as we get ready to come to a close, the the Congress is having meetings right now with as they plan to put out some AI rules and regulations. Now I don't know how you invite the fox in the hen house for them to write the rules. But folks like the leader at Alphabet and this platform Meta that we are on, that X platform that we are no longer on. Those are some of the people who are at the table for these conversations. And maybe that's because our Congress and our senators are too don't know what the heck they doing, and I know they have aides and stuff working on this stuff, but maybe they don't know what they're doing or learn it enough. I don't know. But anyway, AI. Let's talk about AI. Are you on the bandwagon? Or are you not?
We all are on the bandwagon.
Tell them, sister, how we on the bandwagon. Folks don't even know they on the bandwagon.
We all on the bandwagon. Everything we do has artificial intelligence in it. You know, every time you unlocking the phone with your face. I mean, come on. Anytime I'm traveling, I'm going to clear, and they putting a dot on my forehead and looking in my eyes. I mean, it's it
We've been in it
it's
for a little longer
we've
than we
been in it
realize.
right, y'all. Y'all be quick to be like,
But I
"Hey
think I
Siri,
think it's the
hey
generative
Siri."
AI that people are struggling with.
But the point I'm making is AI is so multi-layered,
Mhm.
generative, like you said. You have so many different aspects, the deep learning, machine learning, human learning, all of these different things, aspects of it that are very nuanced. Um, that really and truly, to your earlier point, the foxes in the hen house is kind of an interesting dynamic. Um, but also, yeah, I mean, of course you can say, yeah, we're going to get together, we're going to have a summit, and we're going to suggest that, we have these certain rules, regulations. Responsible AI has been a topic of conversation for a lot of years, ethical AI as well.
Mhm.
um and even so much so as the term ethical versus responsible,
Mhm.
coming before AI. So there are so many conversations that have been had around, or that are being had around, artificial intelligence. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I mean, I, the hope would be that, yes, these large companies will put mechanisms in place to protect people.
But they don't protect our data,
But
so how can we expect them to do that?
right, but also they don't have an allegiance to us.
Mhm.
We're their consumers, and they write these very wordy agreements that when we get these phones and when we log on to these platforms and we get a new email address or whatever, we just be like, yep, 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 agree. And we've given them access to our microphone. We've given them access to our camera.
Cameras.
We hitting the location button every time we somewhere, or when we going on trips, we
We meta
tagging
tag
all our pictures,
photos and
all of
mhm.
the things. So it's kind of like, are they really going to now be like, yes, let's be responsible and let's do? They're going to talk to it, absolutely, as they should. But do I think that there is going to be a big, large, concerted effort? Not unless they feel it in their pockets.
Yeah.
Until we start saying we're not like, this is, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but you know how many people we get into these conversations about Android phone versus
iPhone.
iPhone?
Mhm.
I mean, people be riding for these iPhones like they literally Tim Scott's baby daughters and
Tim
sons.
Scott?
Tim Cook, excuse
I
me.
was like, hold on now. Tim Scott ain't even
Definitely
got a
not
girl.
Tim Scott
Tim
because
Scott ain't even got a girlfriend out there acting like he got a girlfriend. Let me not even go on that one no more.
sorry,
Okay,
Tim
girl,
Cook.
stop it.
Tim Cook. So I'm just like y'all riding so hard for these devices. And at the end of the at the end of the day, yeah, they take really cool pictures. We put in reels and stuff like that. We showing all the world where we are, what we're doing, how great our lives are. But ultimately, we can't even you can't really even monetize platforms like this anymore because they've made it such a challenge to
Hmm.
even make money. So people who have millions of followers still ain't making no real money.
Hmm.
We talk about this writer strike and actor strike because actors and writers are trying to control, again, Drake. People are trying to Drake, who had a song with the weekend using AI, and then you're gonna use somebody else's likeness when you want people to protect your likeness.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's very interesting that I know I'm all over the place, but I'm thinking it's very interesting because to have this level of conversation about ethics and responsibility in artificial intelligence, you have to take it out of just being technical in the tech world, and you have to utilize people who have psychiatry and human behavior and and sociology back. You have to pull in people from other disciplines because there's something about the human psyche that will say, as a hacker sitting in a back room, I'm going to take your voice and I'm going to manipulate it, and I'm going to send a text, a voice message. I'm going to call your parents and say, you are being
Kidnap.
kidnapped and I need money. So there's a deeper conversation that has to be had, and it can't be just amongst the people who are building the technology. It has to be amongst some other professionals. That's my position on it. But we're all on the bandwagon already.
Yes, whether we chose to be or not, right?
Right.
And I think that's what people need to understand. And I know I'm going to say this as we get prepared to close is that all of the all of us should be very concerned about where this may go when we talk about privacy, when we talk about people being able to monetize your likeness.
Hmm.
I mean, people can already trademark your name right now, and if you haven't trademarked your name, or get a copyright on, like, get a .com with your name. They people buy your name, set up a .com, and then want to sell it to you.
Right.
And you like, wait a minute, that's my name. My name, my mama gave me. You use it. But I think one of the things is, and so yes, these companies are using AI. They have all these great utility and utilization, and yes, they should have rules and guardrails. And they're like, yes, we want to have rules and guardrails. But the bad actors,
Hmm.
they ain't gonna care about rules and guardrails. Those who are hacking into cities and municipalities and universities and these ransomware and stealing identities and in our banking system and all of the systems that we have, who are going to be stealing our likenesses, selling our likenesses, selling our own voices, and things about us on the dark web. They don't care about none of these rules anyway. So I
Right.
think the ship is kind of way out of port right now. And I don't know what it's going to do to kind of get it back. But until we really, in a concerted way, go after the dark web and actors on the dark web, we could have all the rules we want.
And we're not. And we're not because again, just like you and I talked about crime. Follow the crime, you end up on the street corner.
The
Follow the
money,
money, and you end up
you don't know where you're going to end up.
where you don't know where you're going to end up.
Yep.
And it's the same here. You follow the little crimes, you're going to end up in some place in Russia, maybe Nigeria, some back rooms in here in the United States. But if you follow the money, you don't know where you're going to end up, and that's why it won't necessarily be in anyone's best not it won't be in anyone's best interest.
It's not in
The
corporate
poli-
interest to
it's not in
to
corporate
expose
interest
all of that,
to
right?
exactly. It's in their interest to put it out there and put a good
Pretend.
face to it
Yeah.
and have the big summits and have the conversations and put together the ethical and make the pledges just like they put up the black squares after George Floyd was killed. It is in their best interest to do that part, but it may not be in their best interest to go deeper than that. So, but
Well, with that, y'all, we tonight we spent some time on Hey Sister talking about bandwagoning, who you
I just
ride with.
I just want to say before we sign off, RIP, rest in peace, Irish Grinstead, member of the girl group 702. If you're like me, you're a fan of the song Stilo, Where My Girls At,
Knock it
and
back
I'm
and like you
still in
got
love
it.
with you. You know who Irish is. Her twin sister Orish passed away a few years ago, and unfortunately, she has also lost her life. And according to some reports, in a similar fashion from kidney failure, but I don't have confirmation of that. But rest in peace to her.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're signing off for night. Thank you for tuning in to Hey Sister, and we look forward to coming back to you next Sunday because you know what it is. Peace.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.